Welcome back to Old Coin Chronicles. Before we reveal number 10 on today's incredible countdown, we want to take just 30 seconds to ask you to do three very simple but enormously helpful things. For our channel first, please hit that subscribe button right now if you have not already done so. Second, please click the bell notification icon so that YouTube sends you an instant alert the moment we upload our next video. And third, please give this video a thumbs up right now because your likes help our content reach more coin collectors and treasure hunters all around the world, and that means everything to us and to our entire community. All right, my wonderful friends, we have kept you in suspense long enough. The countdown is about to begin. Here are the 10 most expensive and most extraordinary Kennedy half-dollar coins ever sold in the entire history of American numismatics, starting right now with number 10. Let us go. First up, in the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is a beautifully designed and expertly crafted coin that carries on the proud tradition of excellence and artistry that has defined the Kennedy half-dollar series since its very first year of production in 1964, and the coin measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter, making it one of the larger coins in the regular United States coinage system, and it has a weight of 11.34 grams, and the edge of the coin features the familiar reeded or serrated pattern that has been a characteristic feature of the half-dollar denomination throughout its long history. And the composition of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is copper-nickel clad, which means that the coin has an outer layer consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel that is bonded to a pure copper core, and this composition was adopted for the Kennedy half-dollar starting in 1971, when the United States Mint eliminated the 40% silver composition that had been used from 1965 through 1970, and on the obverse or front of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar you will see the bold and commanding portrait of President John F. Kennedy, facing left, which was sculpted by the talented chief engraver Gilroy Roberts and captures the strength and dignity and charisma that defined Kennedy's presidency and public image. And around the top of the obverse, you will see the inscription Liberty written in large and prominent letters, and at the bottom of the obverse you will find the date 1979, and the motto "I in God we trust" appears to the left of Kennedy's portrait, and on the reverse or back of the coin you will see the stunning presidential coat of arms featuring a majestic American eagle with its wings spread wide, holding an olive branch in one talon and a bundle of 13 arrows in the other, and above the eagle you will see a glory of 13 stars and the inscriptions United States of America and half-dollar complete the reverse design. One of the most important and fascinating aspects of studying the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is understanding the different mint facilities that produced this coin and the significant differences in mintage figures between those facilities, and these details are absolutely crucial for any collector who wants to properly evaluate and understand the relative scarcity and value of different varieties of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar. And in 1979, the Kennedy half-dollar was produced at 3 different United States mint facilities, each of which contributed its own unique characteristics to the coins it produced. And the first facility was the Philadelphia Mint, which is one of the oldest and most historic mint facilities in the entire United States, and the Philadelphia Mint used the letter P as its mint mark on the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, and the mintage figure for the 1979 P. Kennedy half-dollar was an enormous 68312000 coins, which means that over 68 million Kennedy half-dollars were struck at the Kennedy half-dollar series, and that coin is the magnificent and historically significant 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, which was produced by the United States Mint in the year 1979 and released into circulation all across the United States of America. And this coin has so many incredible stories and fascinating characteristics and important details associated with it that we could honestly spend hours and hours talking about it, and we fully intend to give you the most complete and thorough treatment of this subject that you will find anywhere on the internet today, and whether you discovered a 1979 Kennedy half dollar in an old coin jar or in a family collection or at a coin show or flea market or estate sale, you are going to want to stay with us through every single second of this video, because the information we are sharing today could help you determine whether the coin you are holding in your hands right now is worth 50 cents or whether it is worth significantly more to the right collector in today's numismatic marketplace. So settle and get comfortable, and let us begin this wonderful numismatic journey together right now to truly and deeply understand the full significance and importance of the 1979 Kennedy half dollar. We absolutely must first take the time to explore and appreciate the rich and emotional and historically profound story of how the Kennedy half dollar series came to be and why it continues to hold such a special and cherished place in the hearts and minds of coin collectors and American history enthusiasts all around the world. And the story of the Kennedy half dollar begins on one of the darkest and most heartbreaking days in the entire history of the United States of America, and that day was November 22nd, 1963, when President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was tragically and senselessly assassinated while riding in a presidential motorcade through Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. And the shock and grief that swept across the entire nation, and indeed across the entire world in the immediate aftermath of this devastating event, was unlike anything that had been experienced in living memory. And within just days of the assassination, members of Congress and officials at the United States Mint began discussing ways to honor the fallen president, and it was decided that the most fitting and enduring tribute would be to place President Kennedy's portrait on one of America's circulating coins, and the half-dollar denomination was chosen for this honor, and the coin was designed with remarkable speed by Chief Engraver Gilroy Roberts, who sculpted the obverse portrait of Kennedy, and Frank Gasparo, who designed the presidential coat of arms on the reverse. And the Kennedy half dollar was released to the American public in early 1964, and the response was absolutely overwhelming, with people lining up at banks all across the country to obtain these coins as treasured mementos and keepsakes in honor of their beloved.
One of the most important things that every collector needs to understand about the 1985 Kennedy half dollar is its metal composition, and unlike the earlier Kennedy half dollars that were produced from 1964 through 1970, which contained either 90% silver or 40% silver, the 1985 Kennedy half dollar was struck in a copper nickel clad composition, and this means that the coin has absolutely no silver content whatsoever. And the composition of the 1985 Kennedy half dollar consists of an outer layer that is made up of 75% copper and 25% nickel, and this outer layer is bonded to a pure copper core, and the overall weight of the coin is 11.34 grams, and the diameter of the coin measures 30.6 millimeters, making it one of the larger coins in regular circulation in the United States. And the edge of the coin is reeded, which means it has the familiar ridged or serrated edge that you can feel when you run your finger along the side of the coin. And understanding the composition of your coin is extremely important because it directly affects the intrinsic metal value and the overall worth of the coin in today's marketplace. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar was produced at two different United States Mint facilities, and each facility used a different mint mark to identify where the coin was struck. And the first facility was the Philadelphia Mint, which used the letter P as its mint mark. And in 1985, the Philadelphia Mint produced a very substantial number of Kennedy half dollars for general circulation, and the mintage figure for the 1985P Kennedy half dollar was approximately 189000962 coins, which means nearly 19 million of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone. And the second facility was the Denver Mint, which used the letter D as its mint mark. And the Denver Mint also produced a very large number of 1985 Kennedy half dollars with a mintage of approximately 1,981,403 coins, meaning nearly 20 million coins were produced in Denver. And in addition to these circulation strikes, the San Francisco Mint also produced proof versions of the 1985 Kennedy half dollar for inclusion in the annual proof sets sold to collectors, and the mint mark on a Kennedy half dollar is located on the obverse side of the coin, just below the truncation of President Kennedy's neck and directly above the date. Now we have arrived at the section that most of you have been waiting for, and that is the discussion of exactly how much your 1985 Kennedy half dollar is worth in today's coin market. And let us start with the most basic scenario, which is a heavily circulated 1985p or 1985D Kennedy half dollar that shows significant wear on the high points of the design, and in this condition the coin is generally worth its face value of 50 cents. And unfortunately, because the 1985 Kennedy half dollar contains no silver and was produced in very large quantities, its melt value does not significantly exceed its face value, and however in uncirculated mint state condition the story becomes much today, because we have something really incredible and educational in store for you. And today we are going to be doing a very deep and thorough dive into the 1985 Kennedy half dollar, which is one of the most interesting and widely discussed coins among collectors and numismatists all across the United States of America. And if you have ever come across one of these coins in a coin jar or in an old collection, or maybe at a flea market or estate sale, then you are going to want to watch this entire video from beginning to end, because by the time we are done, you are going to know everything there is to know about this fascinating coin, including its history, its design, its composition, its mint marks, its value, its worth in today's market, and so much more. And we are also going to talk about how you can subscribe to our channel and become part of our amazing growing community of coin collectors, enthusiasts who share a passion for numismatics and the wonderful hobby of coin collecting. So let us get started right now. To truly understand the 1985 Kennedy half dollar, we first need to go back in time and understand the full history of the Kennedy half dollar series and how it came to be one of the most beloved and collected coins in the entire history of American coinage. And the story begins on November 22nd, 1963, which was the tragic day that President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States of America, was assassinated in Dallas, Texas, and the entire nation was plunged into a period of deep mourning and grief. And within just a few weeks of the assassination, Congress passed legislation to honor President Kennedy by placing his portrait on the half-dollar coin. And the United States Mint worked at an extraordinary pace to design and produce the new Kennedy half dollar, and the coin was released to the American public in early 1964. And the response from the public was overwhelming, and people lined up at banks all across the country to obtain these coins as mementos. And the Kennedy half dollar has been produced every single year since 1964 all the way through the present day, making it one of the longest running coin designs in American. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar features one of the most iconic, recognizable designs in all of American coinage. And on the obverse, or front of the coin, you will see the bold and distinguished portrait of President John F. Kennedy facing left, and this portrait was sculpted by the talented chief engraver of the United States Mint, Gilroy Roberts, and it captures the strength and dignity of President Kennedy in a way that has resonated with the American people for over 6 decades now. And around the top of the obverse, you will see the inscription, Liberty, written in large, bold letters, and at the bottom of the obverse, you will find the date, 1985. And the motto, In God We Trust, appears on the left side of the coin near Kennedy's neck, and on the reverse or back of the coin, where we hunt through old coin jars looking for hidden treasure today, we are turning our attention to the 1973 Kennedy half dollar and finding out if this common-looking coin could actually be worth real money. The Kennedy half dollar first appeared in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his assassination, and the design created by Gilroy Roberts on the front and Frank Gasparo on the back has remained a favorite among collectors for decades. Let's clear up the biggest misunderstanding right away. 1973 half dollar contains no silver whatsoever. The mint removed silver from the half dollar after 1970, which means every 1973 coin is struck in a copper nickel-clad composition with a pure copper core, so do not expect any melt value here. The 1973 half-dollar was produced at 3 mint facilities. Philadelphia coins have no mint mark and only 65 million pieces were struck, making it the lowest circulation strike mintage of the entire clad era. Denver coins carry a small d and had a higher mintage of about 83 million, and San Francisco struck only proof coins marked with an S for collectors. Even though the Philadelphia mintage sounds low compared to other years, this coin is still common and circulated grades because so many pieces were hoarded rather than spent in everyday transactions. A worn 1973 half-dollar pulled straight from pocket change is typically only worth its face value of 50 cents or a small premium of a couple dollars in average circulated condition. Once you move into uncirculated and gem mint state territory, the story changes dramatically. Exceptional Philadelphia, example with beautiful toning, sold for $6,600 at a major auction house, showing just how much condition can matter. Proof coins from San Francisco can also carry serious value, especially in the deep cameo finish where a perfect specimen has sold for close to $5,000 in the past, while more typical deep cameo examples today trade in the hundreds. If you think your coin might be special, look closely at the strike quality, the mint mark, and any signs of doubling or errors. Then consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC before selling. That covers everything you need to know about the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. So check your change, check your old collections, and let us know in the comments what you discover. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the next coin hunting adventure, where we dig through old change, jars, and forgotten drawers looking for coins that are worth way more than 50 cents today. We are talking about the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar and whether the one sitting in your collection could actually be valuable. The Kennedy half-dollar was born out of tragedy after President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1963. The United States Mint rushed a new design into production in 1964, replacing the old Franklin half-dollar and turning a fallen president into a permanent part of American pocket change. Here's the myth we need to bust right away. Many people assume every old Kennedy half-dollar contains silver, but that is only true for coins struck from 1964 through 1970. Starting in 1971, the mint switched to a copper nickel-clad composition with a pure copper core, and that means your 1974 half-dollar has zero silver content, no matter how shiny or old it looks. The 1974 half-dollar was struck at 3 different mint facilities. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark at all. Denver coins carry a small D above the date, in San Francisco coins carry an S and were only made as proof coins for collectors, rather than for everyday circulation. In terms of raw numbers, these coins were produced by the hundreds of millions, so a common circulated 1974 half-dollar pulled from pocket change is generally only worth its face value of 50 cents and nothing more. Where things get interesting is condition. Uncirculated coins that never touched a human hand and were preserved with their original mint luster can sell for a few dollars up to several $100, depending on how sharply struck and clean the surface really is. Grading services like PCGS and NGC have recorded some Philadelphia and Denver examples in the highest possible mint state grades, selling at auction for prices that have climbed into the thousands of dollars simply because so few coins survived that well preserved. One era variety collectors specifically hunt for is the 1974 D double die obverse, where doubling appears most clearly on the words "In God We Trust," and this variety alone can command a real premium over a normal circulated coin. If you think you might have something special, the smart move is to check the coin under strong light and a magnifying glass, looking for doubling, clipped edges, or unusual luster before sending it off to a professional grading service for certification. That wraps up everything you need to know about the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar. So grab your coin jar, check your dates and mint marks, and let me know in the comments what you find. And if this helped you understand your coins better, smash that subscribe button and join us for the next hidden treasure hunt.